This is the Everyday AI Show, the everyday podcast where we simplify AI and bring its power to your fingertips. Listen daily for practical advice to boost your career, business, and everyday life.
California's proposed AI bill is no longer happening. Is ChatGPT's price going to more than double? Why does Apple not want in on the OpenAI funding round anymore? And what's going on with Meta's new large language model? My gosh. There is so much happening in the world of AI. It is hard to keep up, even as someone that spends hours a day doing it. But let me tell you, you should not be spending hours a day trying to keep up with AI. You should just be tuning in for our weekly segment, the AI news that matters. All right, we're going to be tackling all of those topics and a whole lot more today on Everyday AI. What's going on, y'all? My name's Jordan Wilson, and I'm the host of Everyday AI. This thing is for you. It is a daily live stream podcast, free daily newsletter, helping everyday people learn and leverage generative AI to grow their companies and their careers. Yeah, we do this every Monday through Friday. It's unscripted, unedited, the realest thing in artificial intelligence. So don't waste so much time trying to keep up with AI. Mondays, pencil us in, pencil us in. We'll bring you the AI news that matters. All right. So yeah, we do this almost every single Monday. So you don't have to, spend hours every single day trying to be like, what's this new model? What's happening with OpenAI? My gosh, there's so much happening with OpenAI. All right. So thank you all for tuning in. Michael, tuning in live. Hey, I love it when our live stream audience technically beats me to the punch. So thank you for tuning in live, Kurt and Marie and Philip and Manchara, Rolando, Tara, Chris, Jay, everyone. Appreciate it. All right. Let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into the AI news that matters for this week. All right, the first one is a biggie. We've been wondering for weeks what California Governor Gavin Newsom was going to do in regards to the AI quote unquote safety bill, right? The AI safety bill that was signed and on his desk waiting for his signature to become law. Well, he vetoed the landmark AI safety bill, SB 1047, leaving some industry accountability in question. So California Governor Gavin Newsom vetoed the California AI bill, SB 1047, a bill that its proponents said would impose extensive regulations on the AI industry, which was passed overwhelmingly by California legislators. So the bill would have held tech companies legally accountable for harms caused by AI models, and also it required a quote-unquote kill switch for AI systems in case of misuse. In his veto message, Newsom acknowledged the bill's good intentions, but argued that its stringent requirements could hinder innovation among smaller AI companies. So major tech players, including OpenAI, Andreessen Horowitz, lobbied against the bill, claiming it could stifle growth and innovation in the AI sector. Conversely, influential figures like Elon Musk and prominent AI scientists supported the bill, warning of severe risks posed by powerful AI models, including potential cyber attacks and misuse of technology. Other states, such as Colorado and Utah, have implemented narrower laws addressing specific AI-related concerns, while California has seen a mix of legislation aimed at regulating AI technology. Also, this kind of AI bill from California that was ultimately vetoed was kind of almost seen as a testing, kind of like testing the waters for a federal bill that, I personally don't think is going to happen for a very long time. But right now, the lack of federal legislation on AI safety remains a pressing issue as billions of dollars are being invested into AI development without adequate protections for the public. And yes, why California? Well, most of these tech companies are based in California, right? Funny, Elon Musk there, chiming in, although he's moving all of his companies out of California. So these would, in theory, not be impacting his companies. So let me tell you this. Let me just cut it down and get through all the BS, right? I think California's governor had two different kind of major influencers on the outside, right? Trying to get in his ear. You had big tech, right? So you had your Anthropics, you had your OpenAI, your Google, right? All these companies based in California. And then you had your Hollywood, right? Hollywood doesn't like AI. It's literally and quite figuratively coming for their jobs. And big studios are trying to kind of unleash AI every single place they can to save money. And we've seen some pretty big announcements, right? James Cameron joining the board of Stability AI. I mean, we saw last week Runway getting into a partnership with Lionsgate, a major AI studio. So it looks like, for the most part, Hollywood is going to be disrupted, probably in a bad way when it comes to human jobs by AI. Yet, so many of the big tech companies building these AI models and kind of the future of AI innovation are from California. So I don't think, regardless of what side of this bill that you may have chosen to be a side of, there's major players on each side kind of pulling the governor, as saying, hey, these are reasons why you should sign it. These are reasons why you should not sign the bill. This is important to talk about. This bill has been more than a year in the making. It's been a long time in the making. And California has passed, and the governor has signed other AI bills, right? This isn't a one-all, be-all bill, right? But I think this is one of those situations where I don't think Governor Newsom was quite confident enough. I think by vetoing it and, kind of siding with the bill's proponent and saying, yes, there is a need for this. Yes, we do need more safety. We need some sort of legislation. So by vetoing the bill, yet kind of agreeing with the proponent's cause and just saying, hey, it's not quite there yet, I think all this does is kick the can down the road until the next legislative session. I do believe that eventually California will have some version of this 1047 bill passed. I don't think it's going to be kind of this first big version, especially since Governor Newsom signed, I believe it was 8 different AI bills in the last couple of months. So I think that, this kind of two sides kind of fighting is not going to stop in California. I also do not think, if I'm being honest, I do not think that California is going to be the state that is, kind of setting the trend in terms of AI legislation. At least, kind of one overarching bill. They can't. They're those two sides, right? There's too much political power. There's too much money, right? There's too many lobbying dollars for California to be that first state. I don't think it's going to happen. And if I'm being honest, right, I was a former journalist. I covered government at the highest levels, right? U.S. Senate, state Senate, governors, etc. I don't think there is going to be a federal bill regarding AI. There won't. I mean, one of the reasons, and what Governor Newsom said is true, whether you love him or you hate him or you don't care. Speaking of, he has great hair, right? Here's the thing. You cannot implement a bill of this nature without it stifling innovation, period. It's too vague. And when so much of the world's artificial intelligence and generative AI innovation with all the large language models is coming from California, actually, I think implementing this bill, because it could be broadly interpreted if passed, could have been very bad, right? It could have been very bad for not just for these companies and for the quote unquote industry in general, but it could have been bad for the U.S. economy, right? Essentially, if a big large language model maker had one small bug that went to production, it could have really crushed them. So I personally, I never like to choose sides here. I do choose the side of what Governor Newsom's actually saying is this bill, as it was written, as it was presented, is not ready, but there is something that is needed. But, I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear from our audience. And, Fred saying, will the California bill spread to other states? Yeah, I think it will. I think there's other states that want to kind of, stick their flag down and say, yes, we are regulating AI. at a high level. I don't think the stakes are very high, if I'm being honest, in many other states, right? California has the overwhelming majority of all the tech companies, all the AI companies. So I do think we will see a similar piece of legislation probably passed and enacted in other states, but it's not going to matter. In most other states, the stakes are low. In California, the stakes are high, not just for the state of California, but for the industry and for the U.S. economy. So I don't see anything this broad being passed in a state like California. All right, let's keep going with the AI news that matters. Yeah. That intro caught Jackie's attention, asking, will ChatGPT prices increase? Well, maybe. So OpenAI, according to reports, is planning some significant price hikes for ChatGPT Plus amid some reported financial losses. So according to reports from, everyone was on this, Reuters, the New York Times, Bloomberg. So according to reports from reputable companies, OpenAI is facing some substantial financial challenges, prompting plans to increase subscription prices for its ChatGPT Plus service in the coming years. All right, so yeah, this isn't going to be into effect tomorrow, but according to these reports, OpenAI is aiming to increase the monthly fee from $20 to up to $44 by 2029. So yeah, in 5 years, they are reportedly planning to increase the price from $20 a month to $44 a month. So that one is according to the New York Times. Here's the thing, y'all. That's not that bad, if I'm being honest, right? I do think services like ChatGPT, like Anthropic's Claude, and sometimes Gemini, depending on how you're using it, they are well worth that $20 a month. Even if you're talking about in an enterprise setting for hundreds or thousands of employees, it's worth it. And also $44 by 2029. I mean, inflation's going just as crazy, right? Who knows? We might be paying $44 for, a t-shirt by 2029. So despite projecting some different reports saying that OpenAI could lose up to $5 billion this year, they have reportedly brought in almost $4 billion in annual sales this year. So this is according to some leaked documents that reporters obtained regarding OpenAI's funding round that we've been talking about here on the show, as they are set to close this $6.5 billion funding round, which would make it the largest funding round for a startup ever in the United States. So this ambitious pricing strategy is part of a broader goal to reach $100 billion in corporate revenue by that time, by 2029, aligning OpenAI with major corporations like Nestle, Target, and others. Yeah. Thinking of ChatGPT, and OpenAI bringing in $100 billion in 2029 on the surface might seem a little wild. I don't think it is. So OpenAI reported a pretty remarkable $300 million in monthly revenue as of August, marking a staggering 1,700% increase since the start of 2023. So projections suggest that OpenAI's revenue could reach $4 billion by the end of this year and almost $12 billion by the end of 2025, according to financial documents reviewed by the New York Times. And yeah, like I said, despite all this growth, there has been reporting from The Information and others that OpenAI is set to lose up to $5 billion this year. And you might be thinking, well, why? Well, number one, a lot of these smart AI engineers are getting more money than NBA players, right? They're literally getting six-figure salaries, like $300,000 to start. The equity is nutty. So, you got to pay a lot to get the world's top and most in-demand talent right now. Also, the inference costs, the training costs are through the roof, right? I've seen reports anywhere from, $500,000 to $800,000 a day. So yeah, it does kind of make sense how a company as big as OpenAI that is reportedly bringing in $300 million in new revenues a month could be losing money. But I do think that is par for the course, all right? I think if if Google were to release its numbers, if Anthropic were to release its numbers, this would not be an isolated trend of a large language model maker losing money. Well, why? Because I think right now it is a fight for users, right? And what that means is we are getting a bargain. I've been saying this since the day Everyday AI started. These tools are easily worth hundreds of dollars a month per seat per user, because you can easily, right? If you are a manual knowledge worker, if you sit in front of a computer every single day, easily you can win back 30 to 40% of your time if you invest correctly, if you teach yourself and teach others correctly. So it's definitely worth, $20, $30, $44 a month. All right. Speaking of those funding talks from OpenAI, Apple is reportedly out. So Apple, according to reports, has exited OpenAI's funding round amid the investment surge. So Apple was in talks to join OpenAI's funding round, expected to raise $6.5 billion, which would value the company at more than $100 billion. But the Wall Street Journal reported that Apple has left the negotiations, which are set to now close next week, right? Last week, we heard they were closing last week. Now it seems like they're closing in another week or so. But Apple has left the negotiations, highlighting the competitive landscape. So other tech giants like Microsoft and NVIDIA remain in discussions to invest, with Microsoft expected to contribute another $1 billion after already investing $13 billion in OpenAI. So Apple's decision to step back reportedly from the investment discussions come at the last minute and is seen as kind of a rare move, given that Apple typically does not invest in other external tech companies, right? So unless Apple is acquiring tech companies, they generally do not invest in other tech companies. So that's why, even when Apple was originally thrown in the ring with all the other companies, I was like, okay, that's interesting. That's very un-Apple of Apple to do. But Apple is continuing to work with OpenAI, obviously in a non-financial partnership, integrating ChatGPT into Apple's iOS 18 in their Apple Intelligence, and to also power Siri's new updated AI capabilities. So if I'm being honest, I'm not sure about this move from Apple, right? On one hand, Apple very publicly is getting behind OpenAI, right? Essentially, let's call a spade here, y'all. Apple rushed their Apple Intelligence, even though they were the last big company to come out with an AI offering, right? It's in beta right now, and they're 18.1, their iOS 18.1. For iPhones or, Mac OS 15.1 for their operating system. So they're behind. The rollout was very underwhelming. Apple's approach to AI has been subpar, if I'm being honest, right? But essentially, Apple's trying to handle as much as they can on device with their own internal small language models. And then for everything else, they kind of pass it off to OpenAI and their ChatGPT service. So Apple, if you were very publicly promoting OpenAI, right? And essentially that is an admission of failure, right? You were saying, hey, we couldn't build something powerful enough to do this on our own. So we are having to go into a partnership with OpenAI to handle the more complex queries, yet you don't want to get in on the investment round. So it's almost sending mixed signals or mixed messages from Apple. All right. More OpenAI news. Yeah, sorry, y'all. There's a lot this week. So OpenAI is facing some major executive departures amid some restructuring plans. So OpenAI is undergoing some significant leadership changes as 3 top executives all announced their departure on the same day, raising questions about the company's future direction. Also, these shifts come at a critical juncture as OpenAI is transitioning, according to reports, from a nonprofit to a for-profit model. So some of the 3 big names that are now out the door: Chief Technology Officer Mira Muratai, Chief Research Officer Bob McGrew, and Vice President of Research Barrett Zoff are all leaving OpenAI, with Murati's exit being particularly notable given her key role in developing technologies like ChatGPT and DALL-E. And aside from Sam Altman, she has probably been the most visible executive at the company over the last 6 months. Murati expressed that her 6.5 years at OpenAI were a privilege, stating that the timing felt right for her to step away. So yeah, essentially, she announced her departure the day after OpenAI released a pretty significant update in the advanced voice mode. So now, what about this restructuring thing? Well, OpenAI is restructuring its efforts to aim to enhance its for-profit capabilities as discussions go on for its funding round that could value the company at $150 billion. So some team members are reportedly dissatisfied with the shift from the original nonprofit vision to a for-profit, which has implications for the company's culture and employee morale. All right, so we'll have more on OpenAI later in the show and more on that shift from a nonprofit to a for-profit. All right, Meta just dropped a ton, y'all. There's so much happening this week. So let's talk about Meta. They've unveiled their Llama 2, their first multimodal model. So Meta had a lot of AI surprises and updates in store at its Meta Connect conference last week. So the biggest one, I'd say, at least for all of you following AI, would be the Llama 3.2 models that now come in 4 sizes. We have the 1 billion and 3 billion parameters, so kind of the small models that are for edge AI or on-device AI, and then the 11 billion parameter and 90 billion parameter for multi-model AI. So kind of the bigger ones that can handle and output images.
Are you still running in circles trying to figure out how to actually grow your business with AI? Maybe your company has been tinkering with large language models for a year or more, but can't really get traction to find ROI on Gen AI. Hey, this is Jordan Wilson, host of this very podcast. Companies like Adobe, Microsoft, and NVIDIA have partnered with us because they trust our expertise in educating the masses around generative AI to get ahead. And some of the most innovative companies in the country hire us to help with their AI strategy and to train hundreds of their employees on how to use Gen AI. So whether you're looking for ChatGPT training for thousands or just need help building your front-end AI strategy, you can partner with us too, just like some of the biggest companies in the world do. Go to youreverydayai.com/partner to get in contact with our team, or you can just click on the partner section of our website. We'll help you stop running in those AI circles and help get your team ahead and build a straight path to ROI on Gen AI.
So the standout features are the 11B and 90B parameter multimodal models, which are the first true multimodal versions from Meta, optimized for performance and privacy, and can even run on high-end gaming laptops. So Llama's open source design allows for extensive customization, enabling companies and governments to create tailored versions of the models. So there's a lot of arguments. Okay, is Meta's Llama open source, or is it just open weights? I mean, I'd usually say the latter, but I'll let you guys figure out. For the most part, people call Meta's Llama models open source because you can download them, you can fork them, you can build off of them, but we won't get into the semantics on the definitions. So Llama 3.2 can also enhance smart devices. Yeah, there's a lot of that from Meta as well. They announced some new updates to the Ray-Ban glasses, which now can allow users to receive contextual information about their surroundings simply by looking at their surroundings. Couple other big Meta announcements. They also introduced Meta Creator AI, which is a set of AI tools that can recreate influencers and auto-dub reels in different languages, enhancing creator reach and competition with TikTok and YouTube, what they've been releasing on the AI side. Then also Meta unveiled their new AR glasses. They're not released yet, but these glasses are codenamed Orion. Funny, that's the same reported code name for OpenAI's GPT-5. So the new smart glasses, AR glasses that were demoed called Orion were showcased also at Meta Connect, highlighting the company's vision for the future of augmented reality, although, like I said, they're not available for purchase yet. Oh, wow. Yo, we're barely halfway through. I got to pick this up. I'm either going to have to start talking on 2X or you're going to have to listen on 2X. All right, here we go. There's more, y'all. The FTC is cracking down on AI-driven deceptive practices in what they're calling Operation AI Comply. So the FTC has launched Operation AI Comply, targeting companies that use AI tools to mislead consumers, emphasizing that there is no exemption for AI in existing laws. So among the companies facing some action, at least some of the more notable companies, would be Do Not Pay, which according to the FTC has falsely claimed to offer an AI service capable of replacing human lawyers, leading to a proposed settlement requiring it to pay $193 and notify customers about the service's limitations. So the FTC's efforts to protect consumers and ensure that honest businesses can thrive without being undermined by deceptive practices is probably welcomed by most. And yeah, if nothing else, this is a warning to companies out there that don't just slap AI on your product, on your marketing, and put lofty promises out there, because now the FTC, with their Operation AI Comply, can come and hit you with some fines. All right, and we'll see. Do Not Pay, I'm guessing, will probably pay that fine. You don't want to be in trouble with the Federal Trade Commission. All right. Speaking of trouble, hallucinations. They're terrible, right? Well, Microsoft has introduced I won't say this is controversial, but this feature has kind of divided on the community on if people say this is possible or not. But Microsoft has introduced a new correction feature to enhance AI accuracy. So Microsoft is making headlines with the launch of a new AI feature called Correction, aimed at addressing inaccuracies and hallucinations in AI output. So the Correction feature right now is available in, or will be rolling out in, Azure AI, and it aims to address AI hallucinations on the fly, offering more accurate outputs by detecting and correcting them before they can reach users. So once activated, the correction system scans AI outputs for inaccuracies by comparing them against a customer's source material, highlighting mistakes and rewriting the content before the user sees it. So while this feature aims to reduce misinformation generated by AI, Microsoft acknowledged that it still may produce errors as it relies on both small and large language models to align outputs with grounding documents. So yeah, interesting. We are already getting at the point where big companies are introducing AI solutions to reduce errors caused by their other AI solutions, which is kind of ironic when you think about it, right? But also probably a good thing, right? Speaking of Meta, one thing that Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg was talking about is, the open source nature of the Meta Llama as well, using it to create synthetic data for other models. So I don't think that this kind of correction feature from Microsoft is wild by any means of the imagination. I think it's actually going to be standard, right? I think we are going to see AIs creating synthetic data for other AIs, and we are going to be using different AI and small and large language model systems to fact check what we get from other AIs. I know it sounds weird, right? A bunch of AIs working in a circle, but that's kind of the future of agentic work with AIs, right? Is assigning different AIs different roles and essentially having them fact check each other or help each other. So yeah, it might sound weird or a little, wait, are we just giving this to AI? There still needs to be humans in the loop, right? Still, you need to improve the quality of your output or input and still have humans checking the output before you blindly copy and paste something out of a large language model. But, hey, this new correction feature, I think, is actually going to become the norm. All right. Google news. Yeah, Google saw everything OpenAI was doing, and they're like, we're not going to sit on the sidelines. So Google has announced that now its Gemini AI will integrate directly into Workspace, expanding access for millions of users. So Google's announcement to incorporate Gemini AI as a standalone feature instead of an add-on in its Workspace productivity suite is a pretty big move that could enhance the productivity for millions of users. So now the standalone Gemini app will be included in the Workspace Business, Enterprise, and Frontline plans starting in the fourth quarter, which is like what, tomorrow. So we'll see how long this takes to actually roll out. But this eliminates the need for a separate purchase. Yeah, because right now, depending on the plan, you would have to be purchasing the Gemini AI add-ons for an additional $20 to $30 per user per month. So now Google has announced that that will not be the case, and it will just be included in the Workspace Business. However, there's no clear indication that the price for Workspace Business will not go up. And I also think, if I'm being honest, this is probably a move by Google to say way more people now are accessing their AI, right? Their Gemini, because now, whereas maybe, I don't know, 5 to 10% of people were paying for this feature, now everyone's going to, quote unquote, have access to it. So this could be, kind of a two-tiered approach here, right? They obviously want more people using their Gemini AI so they can collect more data, train the model, make it better based on user feedback. But they also want to have more numbers, right? We saw this report from OpenAI. Some of their numbers leaked amid their funding round, talking about their usage, talking about their, bringing in $300 million in revenue in August. And I think that Google wants to have some gaudy numbers as well. And I do think its front-end Gemini model struggles, right? If you just are using it as a front-end user, I do think their Google AI Studio is fantastic. The Notebook LM, fantastic, which is based on the Gemini model. Also, Notebook LM had some great features and updates that we covered them in the newsletter this week. The ability now to upload audio files, PDFs, YouTube videos, etc. Great. So I think this is one of those cases right now where Gemini wants more training data. They want more users using the platform. And if I'm being honest, it was very difficult to actually enable Google Gemini, right? I literally had to do a dedicated training video for admins on how to enable the Google Gemini AI within their workspace because it was so convoluted. It was like going through a freaking maze. It is so hard, right? Compared to Microsoft Copilot Pro, ChatGPT Plus, Claude Pro, all these other AI systems, pretty easy, pretty simple, right? You almost got to have like a black belt in dork in order to enable Google Gemini right now across your organization. So hopefully what this will mean in the coming weeks and months is it'll be a little easier. And who knows? I think there's a couple different motives here from Google, aside from just giving everyone access. They want to pump those numbers. All right. We referenced this, but let's talk a little bit more about OpenAI's plan for a major restructure from into a nonprofit to a for-profit. So according to reports from Reuters, this restructuring will remove the nonprofit board's control over the for-profit entity, potentially making OpenAI more appealing to investors and allowing for greater operational flexibility. So CEO Sam Altman will reportedly receive up to 70% equity in the new for-profit structure for the first time, which could be valued at $150 billion post restructuring as the company seeks to eliminate the cap on investor returns. So yeah, reports did indicate that Altman could receive up to 7% of the new for-profit part of the company, which would make that 7% stake valued at about $11 billion. He called the notion ludicrous, according to reports. So the nonprofit arm of OpenAI would still continue to exist, according to reports, and would still retain a minority stake in the for-profit parent company, ensuring that its original mission remains a priority. OpenAI was originally founded in 2015 as a nonprofit organization, and it did introduce a for-profit subsidiary in 2019 to secure funding, most notably that $13 billion from Microsoft. So yeah, like we talked about earlier, the company has gained some immense popularity in the last 20 months since the launch of ChatGPT, which now has reportedly over 200 million weekly active users, contributing to a dramatic increase in its valuation from $14 billion a couple of years ago to the current $150 billion valuation. Yeah, sorry, y'all. Even more OpenAI news, but I believe this is our last news story of the day, and I think probably one of the bigger one. Yeah, we didn't even mention the whole, Sam Altman super intelligence blog. We covered that pretty in depth last week, but I'd say the last piece of AI news that matters for the week is the new OpenAI expanding their advanced voice mode to more ChatGPT Plus users with some new features. So the new advanced voice mode feature is now available to all paid ChatGPT Plus and Teams subscribers, with enterprise and EDU customers expected to gain access next week. So this is all because originally a lot of users in the EU, in the UK, and other countries did not have access, but now reportedly that has started to roll out to all users. So if you are a paid ChatGPT Plus or ChatGPT Teams users, if you haven't already, go check out advanced voice mode. So there are some new redesigns, but the biggest thing is the new actual voice mode, right? So we cover this in depth. This is like talking to a human, right? There has been a standard voice mode available for many months for ChatGPT Plus and Team subscribers. But this was, I would say, more in line with a Siri or an Alexa, which isn't that great, right? If you're being honest, it took a while, it wasn't as accurate, and it sounded like you were talking to a robot, right? Now with the new advanced voice mode, it's not like that. It is like speaking to an actual human. It is freaky, and it can do literally anything. Like, it is freakishly good. So it's the latency is reportedly faster than a human. It sounds like you're talking to a real person, and you can have an intelligent conversation back and forth. So right now, the new advanced voice mode, however, does not work with any other of ChatGPT's tools. So you can't create a GPT right now. You can't upload files and talk to them in the new advanced voice mode. The new advanced voice mode actually doesn't have access to the most up-to-date information because it can't access browse with Bing, right? So there's a lot of limitations in this new advanced voice mode, but I do believe that these other tools will be rolling out soon. The other thing is the previously announced video and screen sharing features are still not available, leaving users without those multimodal capabilities for now when using advanced voice mode. So yeah, at OpenAI's spring event, when they demoed this new advanced voice mode, it also had the capabilities to literally see, right? It could see what you were working on. So if you were using it, on the iOS app in OpenAI's demo, it could see what you were working on. You could be writing out a math problem and saying, help me. And it could literally change, right? Its feedback as you wrote out more of the math problem. Similarly, the desktop version that they demoed, you could click one button and ChatGPT could see what you were working on. That is not available. So right now, the advanced voice mode is only available on the smartphone version of OpenAI's ChatGPT Plus and ChatGPT Teams. So it is not yet available on the web version or the desktop version. So it is still, I think, one of the more exciting AI innovations that I've seen. And you've seen other companies make attempts at this, right? Google has kind of announced and started to release their kind of Gemini live AI assistant, which I think is pretty good. I would say that's probably the in the race with OpenAI's advanced voice mode for 1A, 1B. We saw Meta announce their AI voice assistant at Meta Connect. this is much slower, a much more, robotic sounding voice. So I do really think right now it is just advanced voice mode from OpenAI and then Google's Gemini Live AI voice assistant. But y'all, this is the future of how we work. I talked about this last week. Most humans can speak 4 times faster than they can type. So people are like, well, why would you use this? Well, that's one of the reasons why. We talk about where you can get returns on investment with AI technology. That's one thing right there. Being able to talk to a large language model at a speed faster than you can type. Also, most humans, the average human, can listen to something twice as fast. So that's another huge benefit right there is, well, you can just essentially do more work, right? You can turn ChatGPT into a skilled consultant, right? And have it poke holes in whatever you're working on and just really help you work through a problem or something like that, right? So yes, it is. There is a downside because this advanced voice mode, like I said, can't play nice with anything. You can't even type anything and still use the advanced voice mode. So if you do want to browse with Bing or GPTs or upload documents and still use voice mode, you have to kind of revert back to the standard voice mode, and then you can still use voice mode in that fashion. But it is a much less neural. It's much more of a delay, right? So I was even because I've been using the new advanced voice mode so much, I went back last night and I as I was planning this show and using the standard voice mode, and I'm like, wow, originally it felt nice. Now it's waiting 3 to 8 seconds for ChatGPT to respond in the same way you might wait a couple of seconds for, Siri or Alexa. It feels unintuitive. It feels slow, right? Now that we've seen these much more intuitive, neural, low latency AI voice assistants like advanced voice mode. All right. Whew, that was a lot, y'all. That was so much AI news. Gosh, especially with OpenAI. OpenAI had a crazy week. So let's quickly give you a high-level recap for the AI news that matters for the week of September 30th. So California Governor Gavin Newsom vetoed the landmark AI safety bill SB 1047 in California, leaving industry accountability in question. OpenAI is planning a significant price hike for the future of ChatGPT Plus amid reports of its financial losses, so reportedly going up to $44 per month by 2025. Speaking of OpenAI, our next piece of AI news was Apple has reportedly exited from the OpenAI funding round discussions as OpenAI looks to close a $6.5 billion funding round, the largest funding round ever. OpenAI, more OpenAI news. They're facing some major executive departures as 3 executives left, announced their departures on the same day. On the same day, Meta unveiled not just Llama 3.2, its first multimodal model, but also its new Meta Creator AI, and previewed its new smart AR glasses codenamed Orion. The FTC is cracking down on AI-driven deceptive practices with their new Operation AI Comply. Speaking of complying, Microsoft is making sure that its models comply with the truth as it has introduced a new correction feature to enhance AI accuracy. Google got in on the game by integrating Gemini AI straight into Workspace, expanding access for millions of Workspace users. OpenAI, new reporting came out detailing their reported plan to restructure from a nonprofit to a for-profit company as OpenAI looks to make the company a little more alluring for investors. Again, $6.5 billion funding round looking to close. And then last but not least, OpenAI has expanded its advanced voice mode access to all ChatGPT Plus and Teams users. Woo, I'm tired, y'all. That was a lot. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you tuning in. Apparently, it's International Podcast Day, so appreciate the shout out from Gene who let us know. But yeah, I didn't know this was a thing, so thanks for that. So if you do appreciate the Everyday AI podcast, hey, now would be a great day to show it. International Podcast Day. Who knew that was a thing? I'm always looking forward to like International Pancake Day or International Deep Dish Pizza Day. But hey, if you do listen to Everyday AI every single day or just once in a while, if you wanted to show your appreciation, please go on Spotify, go on Apple, subscribe, follow the podcast, leave us a rating. If you're someone that tunes in to the live stream every single day, like Kurt and Marie and Michael and Tara and Gareth and everyone else, please share this with someone. Click that repost. It takes us hours, literally hours every single day to bring you not just up-to-date AI news, but to bring on amazing guests. We have some amazing guests in the coming weeks, right? To give you all the opportunity to speak live, right? Literally, where else can you go and ask people from, Microsoft and Google and Amazon and OpenAI questions about AI and just everyday business leaders and get answers in real time? Literally, I think only here at Everyday AI. So if you do enjoy the show, please share. Click that repost button here on LinkedIn or Twitter. Please let someone know, yeah, I know it's nice. You probably have a nice little secret that's made you the smartest person in AI at your company, but we'd appreciate you sharing that secret with others. So thank you for tuning in. Please go to youreverydayai.com, sign up for the free daily newsletter where we will be recapping all of this AI news as we do every single day, as well as bringing you everything else that matters in the world of AI. Please join us tomorrow and every day for more Everyday AI. Thanks, y'all.
And that's a wrap for today's edition of Everyday AI. Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us a rating. It helps keep us going. For a little more AI magic, visit youreverydayai.com and sign up to our daily newsletter so you don't get left behind. Go break some barriers, and we'll see you next time.